You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion new single, my hater, the big better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million, the devil, that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the second part of, What If Naruto Enters Megaman? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Hussbek on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. It has been over a week since the incident with Pharaohman and the supposed end of World 3, Lon and his friends decided to take a break for some time to cool off. Naruto was kept over at Psy Labs and Dr. Hikari would frequently visit to ask him a lot of questions about his old world and especially about the energy that he possesses. With Kurama's help, Naruto told him about how chakra is formed by combining spiritual energy and physical energy together through the chakra coils within their bodies. Once formed, it could be utilized to perform numerous techniques, much to the surprise of Dr. Hikari after being told of the serious lack of technology in the elemental nations. A couple of days later, Lon and the others got a call from Dr. Hikari to come over to Psy Labs in order to show them something. The group of friends were currently riding in Yai's limo towards their destination. "What do you guys suppose Lan's father wants to show us?" asked Dex. "It might have something to do with Naruto and that postponed project that he spoke about earlier," said Meilu. "Well, we haven't seen Naruto since then," said Megaman. "Indeed, I was hoping to hold a conversation with him," said Glide. "Well, you guys aren't the only ones. I'm curious about the kind of training he underwent to get that good," said Lon. "It's way different from the ninjas that we know of from TV and books," said Tori. Soon they had arrived at the entrance of Psy Labs and got out of the limo, however it seemed that someone was standing at the gates as if waiting for them. It's a boy with straight black and white hair that hangs down on his forehead. He wears a red sleeveless jacket over a long-sleeved shirt with yellow collar and lower half, and he also wears long pants with green camouflage pattern and a pair of black shoes. Apparently the group are quite familiar with the boy. "Chad. What are you doing here?" asked Lon, who looked surprised. "It's about time you guys got here. I received a call from Dr. Hikari inviting me to come over to see something. Personally, I wanted to meet the new NetNavi Naruto," said Chad. "Well, we got the same message too, so let's go inside," said Megaman. With Chad in tow, the group entered the building through the lobby where the receptionist gave them directions for them to follow, with lead them into a laboratory where inside was Dr. Hikari, who was rapidly typing away on a large mainframe computer, and there happens to be a pet docked on a table next to him. Upon hearing the door open, Dr. Hikari swiveled on his rotating chair to greet with a smile. "Welcome to my lab, everyone," said Dr. Hikari. "Hi Dad, say where's Naruto?" asked Lon curiously. At his question, the docked pet activated and the menu opened up to show Naruto smiling happily at them. "Hey guys, long time no see. And who's that with you?" "I haven't met him before," said Naruto before it Chad curiously. "Oh, this is Chad, he's Protoman's Netop," said Lon. "Oh, then that means Protoman's your NetNavi. I gotta say that he's a pretty strong guy." "I can vouch for that," said Megaman. "Thanks for the compliment," said Chad with a smug smile. "So what was it that you invited us over to see Dr. Hikari?" said Meilu. "Remember when I spoke of a certain project which was suspended a year ago due to certain issues? Well, the purpose of the project is to bring a NetNavi into the real world," said Dr. Hikari, much to the surprise of everyone around him. "You mean that Net Novice would be actually brought out of the cyber world and walk among us?" asked Lon. "In a way, yes. But they wouldn't be able to use battle chips or consume food for that matter." Dr. Hikari walked over to a safe and dialed in the passcode for it to unlock, then he took out a box which he carried over to the table. Then he opened it to reveal a silver bracelet with what appears to be a small azure gem. The way it works is that you plug into the bracelet, which transfers the consciousness of the NetNavi into it, then the bracelet creates a physical holographic body for the NetNavi to move around in, something that we call the holobody. That is quite impressive, said Chad. But then what was the problem that caused the project to be suspended, asked Tori. It is the matter of energy consumption, the bracelet requires a lot of power for it to work. The first time we tried it, the net navi could only last for 5 minutes before being transferred back to his pet. We used many energy sources like electricity, solar power and even kinetic energy, but all were not enough and money consuming, said Dr. Hikari. That really sounds like a serious problem since the duration of the holobody is too short, but how does this involve Naruto, said Yae. After much examination, I learnt that chakra is a greater source of energy much more than the ones we know, so I modified the cable for it to also transfer the energy from his pet to the bracelet, said Dr. Hikari. Yeah, and it will be like creating a shadow clone for myself to possess, except that it won't disappear with a single hit and I can't eat or drink much to my disappointment. I was craving for some ramen, said Naruto, feeling depressed at the last sentence. Don't let it get you down, Naruto, I'm sure that Dad would find a way to bring you into the real world, said Lon. Yeah, I'm actually jealous that you have a way to enter the real world and meet Lon and the others, said Megaman. You're right, thanks for the cheering up, said Naruto happily. Hold on, Naruto, there's something I wish to give you, said Dr. Hikari. Really, what is it? Asked Naruto. Dr. Hikari typed in a few command codes on the keyboard after plugging in Naruto's pet into the computer. Then the screen lit up to display some sort of weapon. It has the appearance of a laser gun with a futuristic design and a color scheme of white, cyan and black, and a loading bar is below it to signal its installation. Hey Dad, what's that for? Asked Lon curiously. After talking with Naruto, I decided to create a weapon for him, a sword that doesn't utilize chakra like his chakra blade, said Dr. Hikari. A sword, but it looks more like a gun, said Dex confusedly. How can gun be sword? Said Gutsman in agreement with his knee top. Despite its appearance, it's actually a sword that is able to produce a blade of plasma energy for its melee attacks as well as rapid-fire plasma shots which can be charged up for extra power. I call it the HAREM blade, said Dr. Hikari. Soon the installation was complete and Naruto felt strings of information flow into his mind. He held out his hands as particles of data formed around it before merging together to form the HAREM blade. Naruto squeezed the handle a little tightly, then a blade made of cyan energy shot out of the muzzle. Afterwards he pulled the trigger for the blade to withdraw and a cyan plasma bullet to shot out of it. Also it has an adaptation program embedded in it, said Dr. Hikari. Adaptation program? Asked Dex confusedly. It means that the HAREM blade becomes stronger in time as Naruto uses it in battle, am I right, Dr. Hikari? Said Chad. That's right, said Dr. Hikari, nodding in confirmation. Sounds like a suitable weapon for you, kid, especially since you often tend to get yourself in lots of trouble whether you want to or not, said Kurama. Ain't that the truth? Thought Naruto. Thanks very much, Hikari-san. You're most welcome, Naruto. Now let us proceed with the transfer. Dr. Hikari unplugged the cable from the computer, then inserted it into the port of the holobrace. Naruto put his together to form a hand sign as chakra proceeded to flow out of his body and through the cable. The gem glowed brightly for a few minutes, then chakra radiated from it and took before finally fading away to reveal Naruto standing before them while wearing an orange sleeveless top which is zipped up all the way to a stand-up collar and the red swirl on the back over a dark blue inner shirt, and orange 3/4 pants as he still wears his headband and the sandals. Naruto unplugged the cable and then looked at the pet to see his body currently sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed as if sleeping before wearing the strap around his neck. Naruto looked his hands as he clenched them a few times before grinning like a fox. Looks it works just like we hoped. May I see the holobrace? Asked Dr. Hikari. Naruto complied as Lan's father tapped on the gem, and a holographic screen appeared before displaying some sort of timer. Interesting. It appears that the holobrace has been given enough energy to last for 5 hours. That's great, it just means more time for you to hang out with us, said Lan. Yeah, we have so much to show you, said Yae. Sure, I'm up for it, said Naruto. Keep in mind, Naruto, that as the holobrace is active it constantly sends data to our server which we could then use to further our research so that we could find a way to bring you into the real world, said Dr. Hikari. Okay, Hikari-san. You guys can go have fun, I'll be busy in the meantime, said Chad as he turned and left the laboratory. What does he mean by that? Asked Naruto. Chad is the vice president of his father's company BlazeQuest that manufacture pets and is one of the 5 biggest company in the world, said Yae. Let's get going already, we'll see you at home dad, said Lon. See you guys around, said Hikari as he watched them leave. He turned to look at the monitor which was displaying streams of data from the holobrace with interest. One thing's for sure, I'm not going to get bored with Naruto around. Meanwhile with Naruto and the gang were currently touring through AC/DC town after dropping off from Yae's limo. Naruto got totally floored from its speed. This place is pretty cool, it's way different from my old home, said Naruto. How is your old home like Naruto? Asked Meilu. My village resides deep within a forest at the base of a mountain known as the Hokage Rock, which has the faces of all those who have taken the office of Hokage engraved on it. I even played a prank by climbing and painting graffiti before being chased by the Chunins, though none of them could catch me, except for Irika-sensei. There was the Ichiraku's where they sell the best ramen in the whole world, the hot springs where pervy sage would try to peep, Yakiniku-Q where Chuji regularly stuffs himself with barbecue. Naruto trailed off as memories of Konoha and his friends flowed through his mind and his heart filled with longing for his home. I really miss them. The group noticed the blonde's depression and felt guilty at bringing up his past. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked something so sensitive, said Meilu apologetically. No worries, I would have told you guys anyway, so cheer up, said Naruto with a wide grin, making the others smile as well. So where to next? Well, seeing as how you don't have any battle chips despite owning a pet, we need to get you some and we know just the place for that, said Tori. Naruto was led all the way to a shop which has a large banner written, Hussbek's Battle Chip Shop, and went in. Inside were numerous chips placed on the shelves for all to see. Whoa, that's a lot of battle chips, said Naruto in wonder. Yeah, but they're nothing compared to the ones I have, said Yae smugly. Hello and welcome to my chip shop. Everyone to see a man standing behind the counter. He has messy brown and wears glasses with rectangular lenses, although his eyes always appear to be closed, white long-sleeved shirt with an orange tie, long blue trousers, and a pair of black shoes. Oh, hello there everyone. Hey there Hussbek, said Lon. Then he turned to Naruto. That's my friend Hussbek, the owner of the shop and a collector of rare battle chips, said Lon. It's where we got some of ours, said Megaman. So how can I help you guys? Asked Hussbek. My friend Naruto here just got his pet today and we need your help to get him some battle chips, said Lon. Guys, how can I buy battle chips without any money? Asked Naruto confusedly. Not to worry Naruto, I got it covered, said Yae while holding out an electronic money card. Thanks Yae-chan, I'm grateful, said Naruto happily. No problem. Soon enough, Naruto had stocked up on battle chips upon suggestions from his new friends, which were cannon, air shot, sword, wide sword, long sword, area steel, shockwave, invisible, barrier, boomerang, yo-yo, vulcan, long blade, wide blade, fire hit, anti-DMG, anti-sword, muramesa, shotgun, elexword, aqua sword and fire sword. Then he purchased a holster to contain the chips which he then strapped to his waist. That's a pretty decent set of chips you got there, but how are you going to carry them in case your holobody disappears? Asked Roll. Naruto thought rather deeply before perking up with a snap of his fingers. I got it, but I'm going to need an ink brush and some ink. Actually, we got something that is both. We call it an ink brush pen. Hold on while Lon goes and gets it, said Meilu. Huh? Why me? Asked Lon confusedly. Mostly you move faster with your skates on, said Megaman as a matter of factly. Oh alright, Lon grumbled before leaving. It took about 10 minutes before Lon came back with the drawing tool. Naruto practiced with the ink brush pen to get the hang of it, then he turned the pet over to show the back and proceeded to draw symbols foreign to the others. After waiting for the ink to dry completely, he placed the chip holster on the symbols and then channeled his chakra, which made it disappear in a puff of smoke. Whoa, how did you do that and where did it go? Asked Dex. I sealed it within the seal, so all I have to do is channel chakra into it again to bring it back out, said Naruto. That's pretty cool, said Iceman. And you guys haven't seen anything yet, Naruto smirked. Next place that Naruto was taken to almost made Hai pop his eyes out. You mean to tell me that Yaichan owns this place? It's almost a quarter of Konoha, he yelled. His reason for shock was the fact that Yai's home is extremely large, and that's even putting it lightly. Tell me about it. Yai keeps calling it a house, although mansion is probably a better word for it, said Lan. Anyway, let's head on over to the tree house, said Yai. Once inside the tree house, if it could even be called that, with the interior possessing state-of-the-art tech especially for net battles. Now that we're all here, let's jack in our net novice, said Tori. Kit, plug in your pet into the holobrace and then impart a bit of yourself into the holobody, just like when you make a shadow clone, said Kurama. Got it, thought Naruto, then he did as suggested and felt himself awaken within his pet and saw his holobody reacting like many of his shadow clones. Okay boss, it worked, said Naruto, clone Naruto for short. Okay guys, jack in Megaman, power up, said Lan. Jack in. Roll, power up, said Melu. Jack in. Glide, power up, said Yai. Jack in. Guts man, power up, said Dex. Jack in. Iceman, power up, said Tori. Jacking in and powering up, said Naruto. Everyone plugged into the ports and their net novice all appeared in the cyberspace of the terminal. Hey guys, said Naruto with a wave. Greetings Naruto, said Glide with the others greeting as well. Hey Naruto, since you got battle chips now, how about a net battle, asked Dex. Sure, I'm game, said Naruto with a smirk and the faceplate coming on. Both NetNavi and Hybrid NetNavi stood at opposite ends of the battlefield as they got ready for the oncoming battle, with Naruto unsealing the chip holster and strapping it on. If both contenders are ready, then battle begin, said Glide. Here I come. Naruto dashed towards Gutsman. Go get him Gutsman, said Dex. Guts Guts. Gutsman lumbered towards Naruto as well. Guts punch. Gutsman launched a straight punch at Naruto, who quickly dashed to the side in order to evade the attack. Here you go boss. Fire hit battle chip in, download. Naruto took out a chip and quickly slotted it in. Naruto's fist lit up in flames as he immediately moved in and planted a burning button hook in Gutsman's torso, causing him to stumble backwards in pain. Don't give in Gutsman. You can strike him now that he's close to you. Shockwave battle chip in, download. Dex slotted a battle chip into his pet. Gutsman raised a fist above his head and brought it down to launch a shockwave which raced straight along the ground towards Naruto. The blonde quickly high into the air for the attack to pass underneath him, then he stretched an arm as clusters of data appeared before forming the Aurum blade. Time to give my new gear a test run. Naruto took aim and pulled the trigger to launch a rapid fire of plasma shots that pelted relentlessly. Here's a double up, Vulcan battle chip in, download. Naruto slotted in a chip. Naruto's free arm transformed into a gun with multiple barrels which began to spin as bullets shot out of it alongside the Aurum blade. Not so fast. Barrier battle chip in, download. Dex quickly inserted a chip into his pet. A transparent dome appeared around Gutsman as the projectiles bounced off upon impact, and now Guts hammer battle chip in, download. Gutsman's hands glowed blue before morphing into a hammer. He raised it into the air before bringing it down to slam on the ground, which launched a shockwave much more powerful than the previous one. Let's see you hit what you won't be able to see, invisible battle chip in, download, said Naruto. Naruto smirked as he completely disappeared from their sight and the shockwave struck a nearby wall, completely missing the target. Where did he go? Gutsman looked around confusedly but the next thing he knew, he felt something strike his chest in 3 different spots with enough force to launch him into the air while hearing Naruto's voice. Na-ru-to, the space distorted for a moment before revealing 3 clones of Naruto with their legs sticking out. Gutsman painfully opened his eyes to see Naruto descending towards him while somersaulting Uzumaki Barrage, and lashed out with a spinning heel drop kick to send Gutsman plummeting towards the ground. Time for the finisher, Area Steel Battle Chip in, download, said C. Naruto. Naruto seemingly disappeared in midair before reappearing on the ground with a charged-up Orem blade in hand. Blast away, he pulled the trigger to unleash a powerful blast to send Gutsman flying away before disappearing in a beam of light. Gutsman logging out, said Dex's pet much to his dismay. Whoa Dex, he totally trashed you and Gutsman, said Lon. No need to remind me, Dex grumbled. One thing's for sure, Chad and Protoman would definitely want to battle Naruto once they hear of this aside from us, said Megaman. So what do you guys think? Asked Naruto with a foxy grin. You're going to give lot of Netops and their novice a run for their money, said Tori. After a few more hours of playing online, the gang went off to their separate homes with Naruto following Lon to his place. He met Lan's mother, who welcomed him into her home with open arms and took a liking to her. After dinner, which she was a bit saddened that Naruto couldn't eat yet, they all went to sit in the living room to watch some TV, leading Kurama to develop an interest in anime, especially of the fantasy genre. So how do you find Dentek City? Asked Haruka. It's a really nice place to live, though the lack of greenery makes me a bit out of place, especially since I like gardening a lot back in my old home, said Naruto. It's a given since you're a ninja, and ninja often rely on the forest for stealth among other things, said Kurama, though his eyes were still on the TV. Well, I'm hoped that you would come to like it here and continue to be friends with Lon and the others, said Haruka. Of course, Haruka-san, Naruto smiled. It turns out that Lon and I won a prize, which is a free trip to Netopia for taking second place in the Grand Prix, and the plane takes off tomorrow, said Megaman. Then you better head to your room and start packing, Lon, and make sure that you got everything that you would need for the trip, said Haruka. Okay Mom, come on Naruto, so that I can show you the stuff on my computer, said Lon. Oh no you don't, kid, I want to see how Gogeta is going to dominate that Buu guy, said Kurama. Maybe later Lon, I want to finish watching this part, said Naruto. Okay then, Lon went upstairs to his room. After watching the TV show, Naruto bid Mrs. Haruka goodnight before going upstairs to Lan's room, where he docked his pet and deactivated the holobrace before going to sleep, completely unaware that a strange orb floated out of him and took on a humanoid form. It looked at the sleeping Naruto for a moment before floating back into him without either the blonde or Kurama noticing a thing. Elsewhere in a dark space, a girl stands in a small spot of light. She has long purple hair with a red bow tied to the side, and she wears a long black coat with a matching skirt and a white shirt with a red bow tie. She also wears a pair of white gloves and black stockings. She was currently surrounded by numerous holographic screens, each displaying net battles with looks of mild interest, although she was slowly getting bored. Sigh, they don't seem to make strong net novice like they used to back them, and the others are so cliché except for that red net navi with the sword. The girl glanced to the side and saw a particular net battle where a net navi with blonde spiky hair was currently battling another net navi. She watched with growing interest as the blonde one fought and won the battle. Strong and cute as well with those whisker marks, he's perfect for participating in our tournament. What do you think, girls? The girl turned to look behind her as two black silhouettes appeared. Both appeared feminine, but one sported gigantic claws while the other had giant needle-like feet. He looks nice, I hope he isn't a mean person, said the one with the claws shyly. He looks to be someone who can make me feel the existence of others. I say we bring into our tournament, said the one with needle feet. So it's unanimous then, he's invited to the Moon Cell tournament, the purple-haired girl raised a palm and a ball of light appeared before flying towards its target. You've caught my interest, Naruto Uzumaki, she smiled. Have a good trip, Lon, and be sure to grab some souvenirs before you get back, said Naruto. Today was the day when Lon and Megaman were to go on a free trip to Netopia, which happened to be the prize for second place in the N1 Grand Prix, so Naruto decided to see him off at the airport as he prepared to board the plane. Sure thing, Naruto, I'll do that along the way. Lon let out a yawn. Man, why did I have to wake up this early? It's because we shouldn't be late for our flight, Lon. Now hurry up and get on board before it leaves us behind, said Megaman. Okay, Megaman, no need to rush me. So Megaman and I will see you in a couple weeks' time, said Lon. Okay Lon, catch you later, Naruto held out a fist to which Lon smirked before bumping it with his. A few minutes later, Naruto stood outside the airport and watched as the plane which Lon is on flew away to Netopia. "So what now, Kit?" asked Kurama. "Not so sure, Kurama, maybe we could check out Hussbek for some info before anything else," said Naruto. "It's a start." Naruto walked along the streets and marveled at the sights for a while before finally arriving at the chip shop before entering the place. "Welcome to Hussbek. Oh, hello there, Naruto," said Hussbek with a smile upon seeing the blonde enter his shop. "Hiya, Hussbek-san," said Naruto. "So what brings you here?" "Well, I just saw Lon and Megaman off at the airport, so now I pretty much got nothing to do right now." "Well, you could always accept a job from the request board." That got Naruto's attention as well as piqued his curiosity. Request board, what's that? It is a board where people post asking for help with their problems both in and out of the internet, and you'll be rewarded upon completing them. Sounds like those D-rank missions back at Konoha, thought Naruto. What kind of rewards would one get upon completing jobs? The rewards may vary per person, it could be money, an item, or even a rare battle chip, which I hope you wouldn't mind trading, said Hussbek. "I'll think about it. So where can I find the request board?" asked Naruto. "Most request boards can be found in arcades as well as higher graded chip shops too," said Hussbek, getting depressed when talking about chip shops. "Thanks for the info, Hussbek-san, I'll see you later." Naruto waved him goodbye as he left the shop. "Would have been nice if he bought a battle chip before he left," Hussbek mumbled. Following the GPS on the pet, Naruto made his way to a building with a large signboard above saying, "Arcade." He entered the building where he saw kids everywhere with some playing video games while others engaged each other in net battles. "Looks like a fun place. Now where is that request board?" "There it is." Naruto looked around until setting his eyes on a board hanging on a wall at the other side of the arcade. He walked over to it and read the contents. It appears that to accept a job, you should input your name and IP address of your pet in order to inform the client of the acceptance, and you can't take on 2 jobs at once either, said Kurama. And they seem to be ranked by stars with more stars representing the difficulty. Let's start things off with the 1-star requests. Here's a good one. Naruto tapped a section of the electronic board and a window opened up for him to read. Request, virus deletion. Info, please take care of the virus for me. If my teacher finds out, I'm going to be in so much trouble. I'm waiting in class 2-1 in ACDC elementary school. Sounds like a kid that bit off more than he or she could chew, said Kurama. Yeah, and I kinda doubt that there are many teachers who are as understanding as Iruka-sensei. Naruto plugged his pet into the board as the request was transferred into it. Afterwards he made his way towards Land's school and took note that it was a lot bigger than the Ninja Academy back in Konoha. He walked down one of the aisle before stopping before one of the classrooms which had the signs written, 2-1. He entered the room to see a little brown-haired girl wearing a blue dress and black sandals pacing around nervously. Excuse me, are you the one who put up the request? Asked Naruto. The girl looked at the blonde before running towards him with hope in her eyes. Yes. And I hope you're the one who answered my request. I wanted to do some virus busting after practice, but the viruses were too strong for my NetNavi to delete, and I don't to let the viruses damage the computer. Please help me. No problem, I'll help you, said Naruto. Thank you very much. The girl was ecstatic. Naruto plugged his pet into the holobrace to transfer into it as the clone took over the holobody. Naruto approached the electronic blackboard as he pulled out the USB cord. Jacking in and powering up, the clone inserted the cable into the jack-in port as Naruto felt himself transfer through the data until arriving at the cyberspace of the electronic blackboard. Now where are those viruses? Naruto heard some familiar squeaking and looked around to see a group of Meteor using their pickaxes to make holes around the cyberspace. He noticed that some of them wore red-orange hard hats and dark blue crosses on them. Those guys look different from the ones I know, better get to work then. Naruto drew out the chakra blade and charged forward as the Meteor saw him and attacked, Cyber Shuriken. Naruto conjured a handful of shuriken and threw them, successfully hitting a few while some others leapt out of the way to evade. The viruses slammed their pickaxes to the ground to launch shockwaves towards him. Naruto kicked the ground hard to launch himself into the air as he evaded the attacks. Chakra Blade Boomerang. Naruto threw the chakra blade as it slashed through several more of the meteor, but as it drew close to one of the oddly colored ones, it hid in its helmet for the blade to be deflected before returning to Naruto, who caught it with a frown. Use this boss, Yo-Yo Battle Chip in, download. See, Naruto inserted the battle chip into the slot. Naruto's left hand transformed into an attachment which opened up to fire a large bladed yo-yo with a long rope attached to it to slice through the viruses, but the other meteor still deflected the attack. Those meteor can block most attacks with my helmet, let's see them block my rasengan next. Naruto got ready to summon a shadow clone when an idea came across his mind, or I could try out that, hey, let's try out those 3 chips like Lon and Chad did. Okay boss, here they come. Cyber Sword, Wide Sword and Long Sword Battle Chip in, download. See, Naruto slotted the chips in quickly. Naruto's left arm along with the right transformed into a sword hilt with a glowing blue blade and a blade with a wide hilt respectively before raising both above his head as they merged into a single purple blade. Try blocking this, Program Advance, Beta Sword. Then he swung it forward to launch a large wave that sliced through the shielded meteor and deleted them without a trace. That's pretty impressive, kid. This program advance will be useful to us in the future, said Kurama. I know, and I can tell there are more of them, we just have to figure out the right combinations, said Naruto. Since I'm done here, I'll be jacking out. He disappeared in a beam of light before returning to the pet and then the holobody. The girl looked at Naruto in awe of the battle she just saw. Wow, mister, you're so strong. It was nothing, it was just something I wanted to try out. Anyway, the viruses are gone now, said Naruto. Thank you very much for the help, take this for your reward. The girl handed out 500 zennies to Naruto, who took it. If I have any more requests, I hope you could take them. Sure, I'll be happy to, I'll see you around, said Naruto before leaving the classroom. Afterwards he returned to the arcade to take on more requests from the request board. It was both in good fun as well as training in the cyber world as well. He also managed to rack up some zennies and battle chips along the way. Heck, he even got himself a skateboard, a Powell Golden Dragon skateboard from a surfer dude who wanted to surf through the city but later preferred to stick riding the big blues. At the moment, he's currently riding back to the house and relax for a while. Haruka-san, I'm back. Naruto called out as he entered the living room. Welcome back, Naruto-kun, how was your day, said Haruka from the kitchen. It was fine. I took a couple requests from the request board over at the arcade after seeing Lon and Megaman off at the airport. I even managed to get myself a skateboard from one of the clients for deleting viruses that were corrupting the computer in his motorhome. That's nice of you. Lon tends to do the same, but only when he's running low on pocket money and wants to purchase battle chips. Sounds like him. Naruto sat on the couch before picking up the remote to turn on the TV and switched channels, then stopping on a TV show. And here comes Wizard's Rider Kick. Naruto watched as the armored hero performed his signature finisher on the enemy, and there was a fiery explosion. That was so cool, and he looked good doing it too. Whatever, he's nothing compared to Goku and the others when they performed their techniques. Kurama. Come on, Kurama, even though it wasn't as destructive, you have to admit that it looked cool, just like when Kamen Rider Kabuto performed his Rider Kick when the enemy thought that he dropped his guard only to receive a roundhouse kick from out of nowhere. Can their attacks actually destroy an entire planet? I think not. Those are techniques after my own heart that I wouldn't mind trading my Bijidama for any of them. You like your shows and I like mine, Naruto grumbled. Suddenly, Naruto's pet begun to beep and he looked at it to send an unread email with an attachment. Strange thing was that he couldn't see the name of the sender. I wonder who sent this email. Naruto opened the mailbox and activated the attachment for a window to pop up and a video to start playing. What he saw was a girl with long purple hair with a red bow tied to the side, and she wears a long black coat with a matching skirt and a white shirt with a red bow tie. She also wears a pair of white gloves and black stockings. I wonder who she is. Greetings, Naruto Uzumaki, my name is BB, said the girl. Naruto frowned a bit. How does she know my name? I've only been here for 2 weeks and my name is yet to appear in any database like Hikari-san told me. I'm sure you're wondering how I knew about you. The truth is that I've been watching you and your net battles for a while now and I must say that I'm impressed. It pleases me to invite you to the Moon Cell Holy Grail War where the chosen net battlers both with operators and solo net novice gather around with only the strongest being granted the privilege to receive the ultimate prize. Know that this tournament is only known by a chosen few, so should you decide to participate, you're to arrive at the port where a ship will take you to the venue after showing them the invitation. I look forward to your participation, said BB as the video ended. So what do you think, Kurama? Asked Naruto. Receiving an invite from a stalker to a secret battle tournament where only the strongest fighters gather to compete for unknown but precious prize, sounds like the best thing keep us occupied for a while aside from doing jobs from the request board, said Kurama with a smirk. Are you sure about this, Kurama? No one knows about the tournament except those invited, doesn't it sound suspicious? Asked Naruto. In that case, then you'll just have to destroy whatever plans they have. You've always been good with that if I recall most of your past missions. If you say so, Kurama, I just hope that it wouldn't be the case. I pretty much doubt that with your luck, thought Kurama. Since we got a week before the tournament, how about working on a seal that could store chakra and release to recharge the hollow brace while I'm jacked into the arena to avoid being suddenly cut off from using battle chips? Asked Naruto. That's a good idea, kid. It could help in the long run, especially when you wouldn't be able to supply chakra in some situations. Then Naruto went to sleep for the night and the next day, he went to the nearest bookshop and purchased a lot of papers and ink brush pens before returning to the house and holed himself up in Lan's room as he began to work on his latest project. With Kurama's help, since he's familiar with seals and his sudden talent in them, he started out with prototypes which got better with each one tried until finally getting a seal capable of storing large amounts of chakra capable of recharging the hollow brace to its maximum 10 times before running out. Then it took him the next 3 days to stock up a quartet of the chakra seals. On the 4th day, Naruto checked out the current battle chips in hand and went to Hussbek for some tips, although the chip fanatic was floored when Naruto told him that he managed to perform the program advance, and on the last day he got a call from Yae and the others, inviting him to a beach party over at the Hawaiian Islands, but he politely declined while saying that he has some things to do for a while, much to their confusion as he hasn't been in their world for too long. Soon the time for departure to the tournament had come and Naruto was currently riding on his skateboard while hanging on to a bumper of a truck which they call skitching, in other words, before letting go to slingshot ahead at high speed as he performed an ollie to get on top of a rail and grinded along it before finally getting to the port and stopping at the edge of the docks. Well, we're here, so where's our ride to our location? No sooner he said that did Naruto hear the sound of an engine and traced it to see a cabin cruiser heading his way before stopping at the docks. Ask and you shall receive, that saying seems to fit this current scenario, said Kurama with Naruto nodding in agreement. He entered the boat and took notice that there were already passengers on board it as well as a console sitting in the center of the deck. The first is a girl with tan skin and paling pink hair. She wears a sunset multicolored tank top, small blue shorts and a pair of red sandals. She saw Naruto looking at her and gave him a wink as he quickly looked away in order to avoid being called a pervert. Next is a woman with short magenta hair and a mole just below her left eye. She wears a black two-piece suit with a red-violet necktie, and a pair of black shoes. She looked at Naruto and nodded at him in greeting as he returned the same gesture. The next is a boy with golden hair unlike his sun-kissed blonde hair, wearing a sleeveless blue vest with yellow lining, a long-sleeved hooded shirt over, camo pants reaching up to the shins, and a pair of white sneakers. The boy approached Naruto with a smile on his face. "Hello there. My name is Gil and it's nice to meet you," said the boy known as Gil. "The name's Naruto Uzumaki, nice to meet you too," said Naruto with a foxy grin. "Well, since you two are introducing yourselves, I might as well do the same. My name is Chloe von Einsborn, but you can call me Kuro for short," said the girl after walking up to the boys followed by the woman. "Then I am Bazette Frogamakramitz," said the woman. "It's nice to meet you all," said Naruto. Hey, don't forget about us." Everyone turned towards the console as it lit up before several holograms appeared for them to see. The first is a girl with long pink hair tied in pigtails and wearing a revealing sort of blue short kimono, a pair of indigo socks reaching up to her thighs, a pair of black geta. What caught Naruto's attention the most was the fox ears and tails on her. "Hi there. My name is Tamamo no Mae, but you can simply call me Castor," said the fox girl happily. "I'm looking at a female version of you, kid," said Kurama. Naruto chose to ignore him. Second is a woman with blonde hair tied to a bun at the back and in a hogue at the front. She wears red militarized ball dress with a translucent white portion on the front, exposing her slim legs which were wearing golden sabatons and greaves. "Since you haven't yet realized the privilege of meeting me, I could grace you with the fact that my name is Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, or you could simply call me Red Saber," said the girl with an arrogant smile. "Oh, okay," said Naruto with a sweat drop. "Quite the stuck-up, isn't she?" whispered Kuro for the blonde to nod in agreement. Next is a girl with magenta hair like Bazette and wears a cybergoth lowly dress. She has long dragon horns and tail with fangs protruding from her mouth. The girl struck a pose and winked at everyone. "Hello, this is everyone's favorite idol Elizabeth Bathory." "Nice to meet you squirrels and pigs," said the girl. "Did she just diss us with a smile?" asked Naruto with a tick mark on his head. "I believe she did," said Bazette being just as angry. Last is a man with blue hair wearing a deep ultramarine full bodysuits with runic markings and a flame design on his left arm. "Yo, the name's Siyu Chulain, but you can simply call me Lancer," said the man with a two-fingered salute. "Hello Lancer," said Gil. "I guess you all must be the solo net novice that were invited to participate in the Moon Cell Holy Grail War, right?" asked Naruto. Of course, these people obviously know a strong warrior when they see one, unlike those amateurs that participated in that roguish N1 Grand Prix. With the exception the two finalists, Nero spoke haughtily. "I was hanging around the JiraiyaNet and doing some cyber fishing when I got the message, then I thought, why not, and decided to join in," said Lancer, shrugging his shoulders. "I was on a quest, so when I received the message, I saw it as a great opportunity for me," said Castor dreamily. "What is your quest?" asked Naruto curiously. Castor placed a finger on her lips. "Not gonna tell ya, it's a secret. I came along because it will serve as a great source of inspiration for my next song," said Elizabeth. "My net navi saw this as a chance for conquest when we got ours," said Gil sheepishly. "I thought that participating in this competition would show us how much we measure up to other net novice and their knee-tops," said Kuro. "Guess we all have our reasons for being in this tournament, but that doesn't mean that I'll be holding back when I run into any of you during the tournament," said Naruto with a smirk. "Me too," said Castor excitedly. "Heh, took the words right out of my mouth. I like you, kid, hope your net navi is the same," said Lancer with a grin. "Humph, I would find it insulting if you faced me at only half of your strength," said Nero. "It would be quite a show if I run into you, piggy," said Elizabeth. A smile appeared on Bazette's face. "I'm looking forward to it." Naruto thought to look out from the top of the cabin cruiser and saw a tropical forest with a tall mountain in the center, and apparently they're heading towards it. "That must be where the tournament is taking place, ready for action, Kurama," thought Naruto. "Heh, the real question is if our opponents are ready for us instead," said Kurama with a smirk. "True that." On a ledge of the mountain, a black silhouette is watching the boat approach the island with eyes narrowed with mirth. It appears that BB has invited another group of competitors into her silly game, and I sense a large amount of energy from amongst them. It feels quite enticing. Perhaps I could acquire it along with the other one. After all, power and wishes makes a wonderful combination, and this time she won't be able to stop me from achieving my ambitions. The figure giggled darkly before vanishing without a trace. On the sandy shores of a tropical beach resort on Jiraiya Island, which is one of the group called the Southern Islands, a muscular man with red hair and goatee wearing orange swimming trunks, white flip-flops and a yellow towel hung around his neck with visible scars all over his body as he struck a manly pose. "Finally, after countless scars and bruises from working day and night at any job I could find, I have saved enough to come here where once again I will battle Lon. Ha, do you hear me, Lon? I have come to take my revenge. Fear my fire, Megaman. For this time I assure you will be the last time we meet, because I will delete you, said the man with a Scottish accent. That's when Melu passed by while riding on a jet ski and called out to him, "Mr. Match, newsflash. Lands. Not. Here." The man now known as Mr. Match was slack-jawed at what he just heard. "He's not here. You can't be serious." "It's true, I'm pretty he's gone to Netopia a long time ago," said Tori as he relaxed under an umbrella while sipping on a glass of mango juice. In the water, Yai was teaching Dex how to swim. "Say Yai, how come Naruto isn't here with us?" asked Dex curiously. "I did invite him to come along to a beach party, but he said that he had some things to do and wouldn't be able to come, which I find strange since he hasn't been here for very long," said Yai thoughtfully. "You're right, I wonder what he's up to right now," said Dex, then he suddenly frowned a bit. "I just got the feeling that someone's challenging me." Somewhere else far away, a train sped along the rails through the rolling hills full of flowers. Inside it, we find Lon taking a big bite out of a hot dog with Megaman looking on in amusement. "Half gone in one bite, top that Dex," said Lon before taking another bite. "Are you kidding me? Dex could top that with a triple and he would still have room for fries," said Megaman. "I wish Dex was here, and Melu, and Yai, even Naruto too, since this would have been the best way for him to see most of our world." "Yeah, me too, I can't wait to tell everybody about our trip. I mean, we've seen some pretty cool places. Anyway, here's our next stop, Brand City. Here we come." "By the way, Lon, have you been taking pictures of the trip like Naruto asked you to?" Lan's face turned pale upon hearing the question. "Oh no. I totally forgot about that. Naruto's going to be unhappy when he finds out about this. I'm kinda wondering what he's up right about now." Meanwhile, in an unknown part of the sea, an island unknown to many except for a few could be seen. There is a tall mountain surrounded by forests and one could hear the sounds of various animals deep within. The cabin cruiser had arrived at the dock and the competitors got off before standing on the pier and surveyed the area. "Holding a mysterious tournament in an unknown island, kinda cliché if you ask me," said Naruto with a quirked eyebrow. "Yeah, you pretty much see this kind of theme on TV shows and novels," said Kuro. "I am willing to guess that the tournament would be held inside that mountain," said Gil as he pointed ahead of them. "We might as well wait here for someone to arrive and guide us to the destination," said Barrett. Then some sort spherical drone appeared from out of nowhere and hovered before them, its camera eye focused a bit and a beam of light shot out before widening to display a hologram of someone whom the group recognized instantly. "Hello and welcome to Tsukumihara Island, where the Moon Cell tournament will be held," said BB. She glanced to the side and a small smile graced her lips upon setting her eyes on Naruto. "For the solo net novice, I'm creating a link into the drone as it leads you to the venue." Then a long black cable came from a compartment of the said drone and inserted itself into a jack-in port of the console as Lancer, Nero, Castor and Elizabeth streamed into it. "Now, this way if you please." The group were led through the large and dense forest filled with both tropical and colossal trees, with the forest's floor covered by exposed roots, flora and boulders. There were streams flowing nearing, but the most unusual things they saw were bits of stones which appeared to have been part of a buildings, and they were seeing more of them as they drew closer to the mountains. Naruto leaned over to whisper to Gil. "Do you think that there was someone lived here before?" asked Naruto quietly. "It seems so. They must have been foundations originating from a long time ago," said Gil. "So you mean that this island existed much longer than we know? Then how come no one discovered this place and yet we were invited?" said Kuro. "They might have some sort of technology which prevents them from being detected by outside forces," said Barrett. They continued to ascend the rocky path for a while before finally arrived at the base of the mountain. Built into the wall were two large gates depicting many warriors engaged in battle and a golden goblet above them as a moon shines down on both. The drone floated before the gates and made a few beeping sounds before they opened on their own to reveal a dark corridor lit up with candles. Naruto and the others reached the end of the hallway to find themselves standing in what appears to be the interior of a cathedral with multiple doors leading elsewhere. Before them at the other side was a giant supercomputer which appears both ancient but at the same time advanced. They approached the computer as the screen lit up to display BB standing before them. Once more as your hostess, I welcome you to the Moon Cell Holy Grail War, said BB. Where are the people? We didn't see anyone on our way here, said Kuro, with everyone wondering the same thing. The ones who had built this place are since long gone, leaving it to me and the droids to watch over it and continue its purpose. And by purpose, you mean this Moon Cell Holy Grail War? Asked Gil. That is correct, to gather the strongest in order for them to compete for the ultimate prize. What is this ultimate prize, if you don't mind me asking? Said Nero via a holographic project from the drone. Within the moon are photonic crystals which have the power to alter reality itself. The capabilities of these crystals far surpass that of any digital media on Earth, as none can even hope to match its processing power. An especially large photonic crystal had been scanning the entire Earth and compiling its results in its database. It is a processor with a massive memory that has recorded everything from habits and even the very souls of humanity. So as it can also affect the outside world with its calculations, it has the power to grant wishes. Everyone was taken aback by the reveal. Not only was there some sort of special mineral within the moon, but it is capable of granting any kind of wishes, something which was only heard of in fairy tales but now is actually real. Most of the group were stunned, but none more than Naruto and Kurama. Do you think it's true, Kurama? That the moon could grant actual wishes? This could be the one chance of us returning to Konoha, thought Naruto. I can't say for sure, kid. I don't want to bring your hopes up only for it to come crashing down later. The best I can say is that we aim for first for now before anything else, said Kurama. So that explains why few know of this tournament. Should it have gone public, the world would swamp this place just to have their wishes granted, said Gil. Indeed, which is why the Moon Cell began the Holy Grail War and would grant a single wish to the victor of a chosen group, said BB. So where do we start? Asked Naruto. BB gestured to the computer system before them. Inside of this computer system is an artificial environment known as the Photonic Abyss. Be warned that once you send your net novice inside, they would be unable to exit it until the tournament is over. However, there are private rooms for them to rest among other things. I shall only ask if you still wish to participate. Naruto smirked at the question. Someone asked me a question like that and I told them this: I'm not gonna run away and I never go back on my word. That is my nindo. My ninja way. He's right, this won't stop me from fulfilling my quest, said Castor with her tail wagging. Seriously, what is this quest of hers? Said Kurama with a quirked eyebrow. Surely you don't expect a lady with a love for art to pass up a chance to see more, do you? It would describe how elusive one is, said Nero. My net navi would be a bit angry with me if I were to leave now, said Gil. I have a goal to accomplish, so I won't let this stop me, said Bazette. How can my net navi and I get stronger if we pass up challenges like this? I'm definitely in, said Kuro. The stage is bigger than I thought, a big debut awaits me, said Elizabeth excitedly. Things just got more interesting. I'm in, said Lancer. BB nodded in affirmation. Very then, please proceed to jack into the system. Everyone approached the computer while the drone inserted its cable into a port. Naruto had already transferred himself into the pet while his clone took over the holobody without anyone watching, or so he thought. Jack in. Archer, power up, said Kuro. Jack in. Gilgamesh, power up, said Gil. Jack in. Saber Lily, power up, said Bazette. Jacking in and powering up, said Naruto. Everyone plugged into the ports and their net novice streamed through the link and soon appeared in their destination. Naruto looked to see the three net novice whom he hadn't met before. One was a male with tan skin color with silver spiky hair. He wears a black tight and sleeveless shirt with silver accents and a metal plate around his collar, black pants that has two black straps on the thighs and another two around the shins, and black metal-plated shoes. He wears a red coat whereby there are two separated sleeves connected by a metal plate to expose the upper body, and a separate red skirt which end above the shins with the top tied into a knot and covered by a silver metal plate. The next is also a male with golden hair. He wears golden knight armor with blue accents, excluding the helmet, with a crimson skirt which end at his feet. The third is a female with blonde hair while a single hair strand sticking out from the top. She wears a white dress of old Western design with the skirt resembling the petals of a lily flower, with silver armor plating on top of it. I haven't met you guys before, the name's Maelstrom, said Naruto, not wanting to reveal his identity. The tan man quirked an eyebrow at the young blonde slip of tongue but replied nonetheless, I am Archer and Kuro is my knee top. The golden-haired man scoffed at the question, however. I find it rather insulting that you do not know of me or at least heard of my name. What is your origin so that I might grace them with my presence? Lancer spoke up, his name is Gilgamesh, the King of Heroes. Many know of him for being a powerful net navi. I thank you for educating this young plebeian. Gilgamesh looked at Naruto rather smugly. Great, a guy with the combined personalities of Sasuke team and Neji when he was a JRK to Hinata, just my luck, thought Naruto. Be careful around him, Naruto, I feel that his strength is great, said Kurama. How strong? Can't say for sure, but be on your guard if you ever go up against him. The blonde female stepped forward with a smile on her face. Hello Maelstrom, my name is Saber Lily and it's nice to meet you all. Same here, said Naruto. You know, I wasn't expecting Naruto to have a net navi customized to look like him, said Lancer. Actually it was his parents who did it for him as a birthday present, Naruto quickly lied. Lancer nodded in affirmation to the answer. Hey everyone, look at where we are. Castor suddenly called out to the group. Naruto and the others turned to look around to see that they're standing in some sort of grounds and around them were buildings varying both in height and styles with trees growing in several places. What caught a majority of their attention were people walking around while dressed in some kind of brown school uniform, much to their growing confusion. I think I speak for most of us when I ask the question of what on earth is going on here, said Naruto with everyone nodding in agreement. In a bright flash of light, BB appeared before them. Where are we and why does the cyberspace look like some sort of academy? Asked Elizabeth. The pink one speaks the truth. What is this strange oddity which we're seeing here? Asked Nero with Elizabeth frowning at her. In every tournament held, the Moon Cell generates different landscapes in order to test the adaptability of the net novice and their knee-tops. As of this moment, this place is called the Tsukumihara Academy, which is where you can rest as well as gain information on enemies and puzzles which you eventually encounter within the Sakura Labyrinth, said BB. The Sakura Labyrinth, what is this place? Asked Kuro. It is a maze located underneath the academy where numerous enemies, puzzles, traps and even treasure can be found on every level. In order to access each level, you're to locate two halves of a key and to unlock the door on the 5th floor of the current level in order to link to the next area. They can be found hidden in one of the floors or are dropped when you defeat an especially strong opponent. You can also acquire the key by defeating any of your competitors should you encounter them. So it's technically a race to the bottom of the labyrinth with a mixture of a free-for-all battle, thought Naruto. You must also beware of the ghost data. These are what you would consider to be phantoms of the participants from previous tournaments, so I would advise that you exercise great caution if you meet one. BB waved a hand and cards appeared before them to take. Those cards will grant you access to your rooms to rest as the tournament shall begin tomorrow. She pointed at a building behind them before disappearing in a flash of light. How interesting, this endeavors might not bore me after all. I'm off to rest in preparation for my eventual victory. Gilgamesh turned around and left for the dormitory. I'll be heading to the library to learn more about this place. Nero was the next to leave, each and every one of the group except for Naruto and Castor. Aren't you going somewhere? Asked Naruto. Actually, I don't know where to go, said Castor looking sheepish. I'm thinking of exploring the place, you can come along if you want. Castor smiled with her tail wagging to and fro, I would like to. With that, Naruto and Castor took to exploring the academy. They met with the students who greeted them in friendly manners despite the fact that they were nothing more than puppets created by the Moon Cell. The duo visited places like the church where they met someone who was very knowledgeable of the tournament, the library as well as other places. At the moment Naruto and Castor were in the school building and were climbing the stairs up to the 2nd floor when a black blur crashed into Naruto, knocking him to the ground. Maelstrom, are you okay? Castor called out worriedly. Naruto groaned in pain, ow, my skull, ringing like a bell, He reached his hand out to help when it grabbed onto something soft and squishy which resulted in a ah. Well, that's impolite, you know. Hoo, have you figured out what you're touching? A feminine voice spoke out. The gears in Naruto's head were turning as he slowly came up with an equation, the feeling of a body on his plus a soft squishy feeling plus a feminine voice equals. Naruto quickly jumped to his feet with the woman in tow and jumped back with a blush on his face and bowing in apology. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. He lifted his head to look at the woman. She appears to be of Oriental descent and appeared to be in her mid-20s. She wears a black tight dress with a slit up the left side which exposes her leg and a white habit resembling a hood with a large golden necklace wrapped around it. Naruto blushed a bit upon seeing the size of her chest and his hand twitched. I always suspected that you liked them big, makes me wonder why you chased after that pink-haired girl who's as flat as a chopping board, said Kurama with a smirk. Now's not the time for that, Kurama, thought Naruto. Sure, if you say so. The woman chuckled in amusement. It's quite alright, I should apologize for falling on you as well as thank you for catching me. What would be the name of my savior? It's Maelstrom, said Naruto, then Castor appeared by his side and grabbed his arm while glaring at the woman. And my name is Castor, you should have been more careful or you could have hurt him, said the fox girl. My most sincere apologies, I will make sure to thank you properly. I have to go prepare for class now, so if you'll excuse me. The woman walked by and as she did, Naruto heard her whisper, I look forward to our time together, lovely young MSTR. Naruto turned to ask her what exactly she meant by that, but she had already left. He noticed that Castor was still holding on to his arm with a frown on her face. What's with that woman bumping into you like that? You would have been hurt, said Castor. I'm fine now, Castor, so let's continue with checking this place out, said Naruto. This had Castor wagging her tail again and nodding in agreement. They continued to walk around for a bit before stopping before a door which had the symbol of a cross on it. I'm guessing this is the infirmary. Let's go inside and say hello since we would be coming here to recover from battles often, said Naruto. Sure, said Castor. They went inside and saw a lot of cots with gray curtains in between them. Then they saw a girl who turned around and were surprised upon seeing her appearance. She has long purple hair reaching to her feet with a red ribbon tied to the left side of her head. She also wears the school's uniform with a short-length lab coat. Who is this girl and why does she look just like BB, thought Naruto. The lookalike waved at them smiling shyly before speaking, oh hello there, my name is Sakura Matu and I am the AI in charge of the infirmary. Sakura Naruto smiled warmly, it's nice to meet you too, my name is Maelstrom and this is my friend here Castor. Castor waved at Sakura, hi. Thank you and I welcome you to the infirmary at any time during your stay here in the academy until the end of the tournament, said Sakura. Well, we're currently exploring the academy before heading back to the dorms to rest for the tournament tomorrow, but we'll be sure to come by from time to time, said Naruto. Me too, we could talk about stuff, said Castor. I look forward to your next visit, Naruto-san, Castor-san, said Sakura with a smile. The duo bade their farewell and closed the door to the infirmary and left the school building and made their way over to where the dormitory is. Naruto escorted Castor to her private room before climbing up the stairs to reach the roof to gaze upon the setting sun. So the tourney begins tomorrow, what do you think of things will be going, Kurama? Asked Naruto. I pretty much understood the rules and how are to be done, we just need to be on our guard for whatever we run into when wandering through the labyrinth. But I still feel rather skeptical about a spiritual computer capable of granting any sort of wish whether or not it's true, said Kurama. We'll just have to see when we reach the end of the labyrinth, if true then it might be our way home, thought Naruto. Then Naruto called out to him, hey boss, the drones are leading the Netops to their rooms to rest and there is a computer system there so I can connect to you when the battle starts and even a machine to recharge battle chips. Okay then. But keep those chakra recharge tags to avoid getting the holobrace to run out of energy. Okay boss, see you tomorrow. Naruto let out a sign and was about to leave when he noticed a shadow by his side. He quickly turned and saw a little girl staring straight at him. She is a girl who appears to be 8 years, possesses silver which are braided, she wears a light blue dress with a lot of frills and a looped skirt, and a blue cap on her head giving her the appearance of a doll. Where did she come from? I didn't hear any footsteps or even sense her breathing, thought Naruto. She just appeared behind you just like that, said Kurama. Both continued to stare at each other for a while with neither side speaking. Naruto gazed into the girl's eyes and could see untold sadness and loneliness in her eyes, something he was all too familiar with. He only blinked once and the girl was gone. Much to his confusion, he looked around but couldn't find any trace of the mysterious girl. Who was that girl? I don't know, but I can tell that she has developed an interest in you. We can think on this later, let's just get to our room and rest for tomorrow. Naruto walked away not knowing that he had caught the attention of many in this Holy Grail war. Naruto opened his eyes and sat up from his bed. He looked around to find himself in a room with numerous similarities to his apartment back in Konoha. He jumped off and stretched to work out the kinks in his body before doing a few warm-up exercises. Then he felt the connection to his pet being established and his clone called out to him. Hey boss, we just got a message, said Naruto. Alright then, let's see what it is. Naruto waved a have before him for a holograph of a message icon to appear, then he tapped it to display the message. To all the participants of the Moon Cell Tournament, please gather at the Sakura tree located at the side of the school. Naruto read through it. Well, I better prep up and get going then. All of the battle chips are good to go, said Naruto. Gotcha. Naruto then checked up on his chakra blade and the settings on his Aurum blade before he left his room. He was walking along the aisle towards the stairs when he saw that strange girl whom he encountered back on the roof. She glanced to the side and saw him before quickly looking away. Kurama, it's that girl again. I know, perhaps you should talk to her and find more, said Kurama. Naruto walked closer and calmly spoke up, excuse me, but didn't I see you before yesterday at the roof? The girl looked at Naruto with surprise before responding to him, aren't you afraid of me? This question caused Naruto to quirk an eyebrow. What does she mean by that? No, I don't see or know anything to be scared of you. Why do you ask? However, Naruto's answer seemed to have made the mysterious girl smile at him happily. Alice is so happy to hear that. Will you be Alice's friend, please? Sure, if that's okay with you, I don't mind. Alice-chan is it, said Naruto. He was confused at first until he noted the tone of how she asked. She's lonely, isn't she? Alice beamed at him, that's right. Alice's name is Alice. Will you play with Alice? Naruto was about to reply when he heard someone call out to him from behind. Hey Maelstrom. He turned to see Castor running and waving cheerily towards him. Why are you standing in the middle of the hall? Hey Castor, I was just talking to, Naruto had turned back to face Alice only to find her gone without a trace. Where did she go? I didn't even sense her leave, said Kurama. Who? Castor looked confused. I was just talking to a little girl just a moment ago before you showed up and now she's gone. I didn't see anyone. Anyway, we should get going to the Sakura tree or we'll be late. Okay then. Naruto followed after Castor, but unknown to them was that Alice reappeared in the halls with a melancholic smile. Alice guesses she'll have to wait a little until you can play with her, then she disappeared again. By then, Naruto and Castor made their way out of the dormitory and arrived at the Sakura tree close to the school, where they saw that the other competitors were already there along with BB. They all turned to look at the late arrivals, much to their awkwardness. So you've arrived, so what, pray tell, was your reason for such tardiness? Asked Nero. Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly before attempting to come up with an excuse. Sorry about that, we got a little sidetracked and before realizing it, got lost on the path of life. Everyone including Castor herself were looking at him like he had gone crazy with that statement. What on earth came upon you to use one of your sensei's lame excuses? Asked Kurama incredulously. I don't know Kurama, it just came out like that. You could have come up with a better one, bud, said Lancer. That has to be the most piteous excuse I've ever heard, quite an audible annoyance to my ears, said Gilgamesh. Humph, quite typical of a pig, said Elizabeth. Some shook their heads in amusement while others were simply nonchalant at Naruto's extremely weak excuse, and BB giggled silently before clapping her hands to attain their attention. Now that you have all assembled here, I would like to go over the rules of the tournament once more. Inside the Sakura labyrinth are several levels with different environments, each possessing 2 floors. Your objective will be to find the halves of a key which will unlock a gateway to the next stage. BB held a hand out to display a hologram of what appears to be a gray stone tablet with the etchings of a blue moon which are split apart. These pieces of the keys could be found hidden inside a chest or acquired by defeating a ghost data of previous participants. The hologram disappears and BB turns her attention back to Naruto and the others. There's also the third option whereby the participants are allowed to battle for possession of the moon tablet pieces. So to say that we have to collect these keys by all means and get to the bottom of the labyrinth, with the first being the one to win the tournament, am I right? Asked Lancer. That is indeed correct, said BB. What happens to those defeated? Asked Castor. They will be sent to a cyberspace known as the 0D where they will lie in wait until the end of the tournament, BB replied. The Netops were surprised to hear that and responded as such. What? We can understand our net novice being unable to jack out of the system, but sending them elsewhere isn't what we agreed upon, said Kuro angrily. There's no need for such anger. I assure you that your net navi shall remain unharmed and be returned immediately upon completion of the tourney, said BB. As long as no harm comes to the net navi, I would be willing to bear with this, said Bazette. Very well then, as of now, the Holy Moon Grail War is now underway, said BB. Then the Sakura tree suddenly rose up to the air and revealing a white swirling portal, much to their surprise. This is the entrance to the labyrinth. Know that upon gaining access to the next stage you would automatically be warped back to the academy to rest for the next day in order to advance to yet another level. I wish you all luck. Before disappearing, BB took a lingering glance at Naruto and then she left. Well then, let's get this show on the road, Lancer said before being the first to step through the portal, followed by Archer and Saber. I'm going to do my very best. I'll catch you guys later. Castor was the next to jump through. Humph, be sure assured that we'll be opponents should we encounter each other in the battlefield, said Nero before walking into the portal. Gilgamesh simply huffed haughtily. Normally I would have been the first to enter, but as a king I must be generous to the lesser ones at times. Now then, I'll be on my way. Then he walked through the portal with Naruto being the last. Well Kurama, are you ready? Thought Naruto. I've always been ready since the day I was sealed into you, Kurama replied. Alright then, let's go. Naruto dashed into the portal and disappeared. Unknown to him, someone was watching him from the rooftop of the school, who was none other than Kiera with a smile on her face. Fufufufu, I finally get to see what made you so intriguing, Naruto, said Kiera. Naruto emerged from the portal to find himself standing in the middle of a small clearing whilst surrounded by a thick forest with giant cubes, strings and elevated pathways made of data around him, plus he could see a clear blue sky above him. So the first level is a forest, huh? A perfect place for a leaf shinobi like me, said Naruto with a look of nostalgia. We'll need to start things out by scouting the area. I suggest that you not using your shadow clones to avoid being detected by the others during the search. After finding the first half of the key, then we'll make our way to the second floor to continue, said Kurama. I got ya, said Naruto, then he took off through the forest and ran up a tree trunk to land on the branch. He leapt from tree to tree, all the while scouting the area for any signs of an enemy or pieces of the moon tablet. He flipped off the branch that he was on to slide down a rather slippery hill and was about to take a step forward when he heard a strange whirring sound nearby. Naruto immediately took cover in the bushes to hide before peeking out to see the source of the sound. It was a large sphere the size of a beach ball with one half white while the other dark blue, with circuits and a glowing magenta eye at the center of its now identified body. I guess that's an enemy of the labyrinth, said Naruto. Apparently, best you get rid of the thing before it might alert the others, said Kurama. Got it, Cyber Shuriken. Naruto burst out from the bushes with said weapons appearing in his hands, which he then threw at the enemy, inflicting damage upon it. The creature turned towards him with the eye glowing much brighter than before as a white beam of energy straight at him. Naruto reacted quickly by summoning the Orem blade in hand and dashed to the side whilst firing rapidly. The spherical eye darted to the side to avoid most of the shots before retaliating with more of the energy beams for Naruto to cartwheel to the side. Use this boss. Boomerang battle chip in, download. See Naruto inserted the chip into the pet. Naruto's free arm transformed into an armament with a V-shaped boomerang attached to it. He swung his arm to launch the boomerang at the spherical eye, but it dodged the incoming projectile and fired another energy beam. The cyber ninja had already charged up a shot with the Orem blade and fired at the beam to cancel it out. The enemy was about to attack again before a white blur sliced through, revealing that it was the boomerang which was thrown earlier. Naruto raised the armament to catch it before fading away altogether as he watched his opponent disappear in pixels. "Well, that takes care of it," said Naruto with a smile. "Well, don't get cocky, we just got started. Now resume the search for the moon tablet pieces before the others do," said Kurama. Roger that. Naruto leapt up to a tree branch and was once again on the move to check out the current level of the first stage. He encountered several more of those spherical eyes but were able to take them on without use of battle chips as he now knows of their battle style. Naruto was running through the forest when he saw something from the corner and stopped to investigate what it was. It turned out to be some sort of tunnel leading downwards to who knows where. I'm guessing that this tunnel leads to the second level. Maybe so, but we'll come back to it later since we have yet to find the relic on this current level. Naruto nodded in agreement before leaving the area. He was moving along when he heard the now familiar whirring sound of the spherical eyes, and it appears to be a group of them too. Naruto thought deeply for a few moments before coming up with an idea. A couple minutes later, a squad of clones rushed out of the bushes towards the spherical eyes, who immediately turned and proceeded to fire energy beams. The clones brandished their chakra blades to deflect the incoming projectiles and continued with the assault. Suddenly, a shadow burst from above the trees and dove towards, revealing it to be the original Naruto. Here goes, multiple mini-bomb battle chip in, and download. See Naruto held many battle chips in between his fingers and proceeded to rapidly insert them into the pet. A pair of blue spheres with a green stripe materialized in each of his hand every time he flings one towards the enemies below, causing consecutive explosions until he landed on the ground filled with craters and there was no trace of the enemy. Well, that takes cares of them. Naruto noticed something glinting from the corner of his eye and turned to see that was coming from a small hole in a nearby tree. He cautiously approached the hole before placing a hand inside when he felt something. I wonder if it is. Naruto pulled the item out to see that it was the first half of the relic that he was looking for. I found the piece of the moon tablet. Good going, but we're just getting started. Return to tunnel earlier so that we can get to the next level, said Kurama. Naruto retraced his steps back to where he found the tunnel and went inside. It was a bit dark within the passage, but he finally made it to the other side and found himself in another part of the forest which appears much thicker than before. He took to the trees once more to scope out the area, all the while taking down any spherical eye that make an appearance. He continued to search for the second half of the relic but had yet to find it. So far there's no sign of the second half. Kurama, maybe I'm searching in the wrong places, asked Naruto confusedly. That depends on the way you look, but be careful as I've been sensing strange energy fluctuations ever since we entered this level. Got it. The blonde ninja then wandered into a rather large clearing in the forest and was halfway through when suddenly some sort of holographic sphere emblazoned with the image of a lance appeared before him. Naruto immediately jumped backwards and conjured a cyber kunai in a defensive stance. What's that? An enemy? Asked Naruto confusedly. I don't know, but be on your guard, said Kurama. The sphere pulsed for a moment before a column of data appeared around it before dissipating to reveal a very handsome man with quirky long black hair which is combed backwards in a rough fashion that has a strand hanging down his face. He wears a dark teal sleeveless outfit similar to that of Lancer. Naruto took note that he held a pair of spears with a scarlet long spear in his right hand and a golden short spear in his left, with both wrapped up with purple linen cloth. Who is this guy? Could he be one of the ghost data we were told about, thought Naruto. The mysterious man opened his eyes and looked around before settling on a rather precautious Naruto. then he muttered out loud to himself, "It appears that I've been chosen to be your opponent, but first allow me to introduce myself. I am Zero Lancer, the loyal knight of the Fianna." Naruto hesitated a bit before responding, "And I am Maelstrom, a shinobi of the Hidden Leaf Village. It is a pleasure to meet someone so young and yet appears to be quite strong to have been invited to this tournament. I've been given undeserving honor to take arms once more, and I will not let such a chance go to waste. Come forth and let us cross blades, young Maelstrom." Zero Lancer slung the scarlet long spear over his shoulder while positioning the golden short spear a few meters away from his waist. "Ready when you are, Zero Lancer." Naruto took a fighting stance, ready to call on any of his weapons. "Naruto, be very careful when facing him. Wielding two spears of varying lengths is a testament of how highly proficient he is in battle, not to mention that those spears could have special abilities if they were to be wrapped in cloth," said Kurama. "Let's begin." Zero Lancer charged forwards at Naruto. "Okay." Naruto charged right back at him to begin the battle. Naruto started off by drawing out the chakra blade from the sheath and launched a horizontal slash. Zero Lancer parried with the scarlet spear and moved the golden spear forwards, and Naruto quickly summoned the Aurum blade to deflect the attack before dashing backwards whilst firing several plasma shots in motion. The spearman darted left and right to evade the incoming projectiles and resumed his pursuit on the blonde shinobi and quickly caught up to him before swinging the long spear to attack like a WHP. Naruto raised both weapons in a cross position to block, however the swing's impact was powerful enough to knock him back a few meters much to his shock. He switched over to offense as he slashed at Zero Lancer with his chakra blade and Aurum blade in blade mode. The opponent expertly deflected each and every one of the incoming attacks. "Hang on boss, air shot battle chip in, download." See Naruto slotted in a chip. The Aurum blade disappeared before Naruto's arm transformed into a small cannon. He took aim and fired a rapid ball of air which slammed into Zero Lancer's chest faster than he could react, sending him skidding back several meters. Naruto's hand reverted to normal as he focused on his chakra shuriken. A couple of said tools appeared his hand before he flung them at Zero Lancer. The spearman brought his golden spear forward and twirled it rapidly like a propeller to deflect the projectiles. Naruto continued to throw shurikens while running in a zigzag fashion until finally drawing close, which he performed a jumping roundhouse kick. Zero Lancer dashed backwards to avoid the hit and retaliated with a vertical swing of the scarlet spear. The blonde ninja hastily twisted his body to turn and block the strike, knocking him to the ground and rolling back away from him to retake his battle stance. "Most intriguing, you have no sense of style and yet your battle instincts as well as reflexes grant you an unorthodox way of fighting. Though I can tell that you're not fighting with all of your might," said Zero Lancer with a smirk. Naruto frowned a little at being pointed out. "I could say the same with you, Zero Lancer-san. Those purple cloths on your spears tells me that you aren't going all out on me either, so it's only right that I do the same until either of us decide to get serious." Zero Lancer chuckled, "Quite true. I apologize for such behavior. If you wish for me to battle with all my might then I shall comply if only you do the same." "You got yourself a deal," said Naruto. Zero Lancer gripped both spears as the purple cloth on both shredded into pieces to reveal them as they released a strong visible pulse of energy, which alone told Naruto that whatever abilities they possess has been fully activated. "Here I come, Maelstrom." Zero Lancer dashed towards Naruto and began to unleash a flurry of stabs. Naruto hastily changed the grip of his chakra blade to reverse and formed a kunai in hand to deflect the incoming attacks for a few moments before finding the opportunity to create some distance. He tossed the chakra blade into the air before crossing the middle and index fingers of both hands together before calling out, "Shadow Clone Jutsu." There was a large puff of smoke which soon faded away to reveal a group of duplicates much to Zero Lancer's shock before smirking once again. "Let's get him, guys." The original Naruto caught the chakra blade in his hands and pointed it at Zero Lancer with the clones drawing out their own chakra blades or kunai before running towards their target. Zero Lancer smirked in anticipation before charging right back at the small army. He constantly stabbed with every moment of twirling the scarlet spear to force any extra clones from overwhelming him and utilizing the golden spear for rapid counters, all the while veering left and right to dodge any thrown shurikens and kunai. He suddenly heard an unfamiliar sound from above and looked up to see Naruto quickly diving towards him with a blue spiraling sphere in his hand. Rasengan. Naruto thrusts out the jutsu at Zero Lancer, who immediately dashed to the side and out of range. The sphere crashed into the ground, resulting in the creation of a large crater. "Most impressive young warrior, your abilities must have earned quite some praise in your village," said Zero Lancer. Naruto smiled sadly. "Not at first, but they eventually came around. At least I hoped that they did." Then he charged once more, parrying Zero Lancer's spear strikes with his chakra blade as fast as he could. Vulcan Battle Chip in, download. See Naruto slotted in a chip, then Naruto's free hand transformed into a firearm of multiple rotating barrels which started spinning before firing rapidly at the target. Zero Lancer jumped backwards and started running sideways, just keeping out of the line of fire. Naruto kept trying to keep a beat on him, but the Vulcan eventually ran out of ammo. His opponent stopped in one place and positioned both spears on either side, telling that he was going to charge. "Hey Kurama, I have an idea," thought Naruto. "What's the plan then?" asked Kurama. "When Zero Lancer and I charge at each other, I'll use a Rasengan on the long spear to disarm him whilst using the chakra blade to parry the golden spear. Afterwards, I'll overwhelm him with a multi-shadow clone jutsu before wrapping it up with an Uzumaki 2K barrage." Kurama nodded in approval on the plan. A plausible idea, it would reduce his ability to multitask. Naruto formed a shadow clone and began working on a Rasengan in his left hand while holding the chakra blade in a reverse grip on his right hand. Zero Lancer grinned in anticipation as he charged forwards with Naruto doing the same. Both sides lashed out with their attacks. Naruto was able to deflect the golden spear, but he felt pain shoot through his wrist all the way to the elbow, causing him to lose control on the Rasengan as it dissipated. What's worse was that his right arm slacked for Zero Lancer to capitalize on it and slashed the side of the waist with the golden spear. Naruto tumbled to the ground and rolled away from Zero Lancer before getting up on one knee with a hand on the wound, while blue data could be seen leaking from the wound on his left hand. What just happened? I couldn't have missed with the Rasengan, it was spot on, thought Naruto confusedly. You didn't miss the attack, I saw the spear actually phase through the Rasengan and cut your arm, said Kurama. Could it be an ability of the spear? Anyway, I need to heal quickly, Naruto. Naruto called out. Already on it. Recov 80 battle chip in, download. See Naruto slotted the chip into the pet and a pillar of white light came upon Naruto for a moment before fading away, but only the wound on his arm was healed but not the one at the waist. What's going on now? Why aren't all of my wounds healing? Kit, we have a problem. Something is preventing my chakra from healing you. Zero Lancer was apparently amused by the look of confusion on his opponent's face and called out to him, I can see that you've realized your current situation, and I'm sure you've figured out by now that it was because of my spears. Naruto got to his feet and frowned at Zero Lancer. Those spears of yours have some sort of ability, don't they? You're actually right about that. The spearman held the scarlet spear before him. My Gi Dirge is a demonic spear capable of piercing through any projection made of energy. Then he held out the golden spear, and my Gi Bit inflicts wounds that cannot be healed naturally or with outside sources. DMN, it's like fighting Niji during the Chunin exams all over again. This wound is definitely going to make it hard for me to defend against his strikes. I'd better take it from a distance. Naruto created another small army of shadow clones to attack. Zero Lancer was at the ready and proceeded to attack them with fervor. He rapidly stabbed and parried with the clones and at times evaded any shurikens and kunai thrown at him. While the opponent was occupied, Naruto swung into action and slotted in the following chips: sword, wide sword and long sword battle chip in, download. Then Naruto merged all three sword chips into a single purple blade held over his head. Program advance, beta sword. Then he swung it forward to launch a large crescent wave that consumed both the shadow clones and Zero Lancer in a bright flash of light. That should do it. Indeed, if I had stayed long enough for the technique to strike me. Hearing a familiar voice from behind, Naruto quickly turned around only for Zero Lancer to use the butt end of the scarlet spear to slam him in the head to make him stumble before unleashing a combo of rapid stabs with the golden spear. Naruto used the chakra blade to quickly block as much as he could before dashing away to avoid any more of the onslaught. Damn it, at this rate I won't be able to fight properly at all. A soft glow caught his eye and he saw that the Konoha symbol on the chakra blade was glowing to signal the ready use of the overflow state. It's fully charged, but how can I use it when that red spear could pierce through it? Hang on, there's something weird here. One of the clones used a cyber kunai to attack but Zero Lancer blocked with the red spear, but why didn't it get dispersed? Unless, I see, so that's how it works. Heads up kid, Zero Lancer is attacking, said Kurama. I believe it's time to end this battle. Zero Lancer held up his spears as they glowed in their respective colored auras before rushing forward to appear right in front of Naruto and stabbed him with the scarlet spear, which made him fall to the ground. Then the spearman on top of the spear and kicked off it to spin around and strike Naruto with the golden spear about 3 times before jumping up into the air and throwing it onto him. Tale of tragic love, devotion to grain. Zero Lancer summoned the spears back to his side and bowed to his opponent as a form of respect when the body suddenly disappeared in a puff of smoke, much to his surprise. Then the ground at his feet burst open and Naruto rose up with a flaming fist which he used to punch Zero Lancer in the face and sent him flying backwards. Zero Lancer got back up still looking surprised as well as impressed. Most impressive of you being able to dodge my most powerful attack, so pray tell how were you able to evade, asked Zero Lancer. I had my Netop use a double download of anti-DMG and area steel to evade and then fire hit to surprise you from underground. Now it's time for me to end this. Kurama, please lend me your chakra. You got it. Red chakra burst out of Naruto's body and swirled around him in the form of tails before forming a layer around his body. His blue eyes changed to red and became slitted, and his hair became longer and spikier. Despite the chakra not being able to heal him like usual, it was able to dull the pain enough to function more properly now. Naruto touched the Konoha symbol on the chakra blade to activate its overflow state as blue chakra surged out of the blade and took shape of a longer variation before summoning the Aurum blade to his other hand. Naruto lowered himself close to the ground ready to sprint. Get ready Zero Lancer, 'cause here I come. Then he dashed forward at blurring speeds. Zero Lancer quickly crossed both spears just in time to block the double strike from Naruto, however the impact was unexpected as the blonde ninja continued to push him back, resulting in a long trench along the ground. Naruto suddenly broke away from the clash and proceeded to run in circles around his opponent, all the while firing with the Aurum blade. Zero Lancer continuously twirled his spears to deflect the incoming shots as fast as he could, although some of them managed to get. Such power and speed, he fights with the ferocity of a wild animal. Where did he attain such strength, thought Zero Lancer. Then Naruto came to a complete halt on the right Zero Lancer and started swinging the chakra blade in a flurry to launch a barrage of slash waves straight at him. The spearman took evasive action to avoid the swift incoming projectiles before hearing rapid footsteps and turned to Naruto a few meters away, launch a punch in direction of the golden spear, generating a shockwave to knock it out of his hand. He put away the Aurum blade before gripping the chakra blade with both hands and rearing back, then he swung it forward to launch a large wave of chakra that sliced through the golden spear, which led to a yellow aura gushing out in a whirlwind before disappearing into nothingness. Naruto then felt his wounds heal and his body back in good condition. It's just like I thought. Destroying the spear would forcefully deactivate its ability to forbid healing. Most astute of you, Maelstrom. I am truly enjoying this battle, but it is far from over. Naruto noticed that the Konoha symbol was glowing again, but this time with a red light. He touched it only for the chakra blade to surge once more with red chakra obviously belonging to Kurama. Naruto positioned the blade to his side and pointing behind while Zero Lancer held the scarlet spear ready to charge. Both sides stared at each other in silence as if waiting for a signal, then suddenly they moved at high speed and passing each other before standing away in silence once more. There was a clattering, meaning that a weapon has been dropped. The sound came from Zero Lancer, who collapsed to the ground. The red chakra around Naruto faded away as he sheathed the now normal chakra blade before slowly approaching the defeated spearman. Zero Lancer rolled onto his back and smiled weakly upon setting eyes in the young blonde. So, this battle ends in my loss and your victory. Regardless, it was a battle worth partaking, and I am honored to have battled a warrior such as yourself, said Zero Lancer. Yeah, but I'm sure you would have beaten me if you had a Nitop backing you up, said Naruto truthfully. Without Kurama's help he would have lost in the end too. Even so, a loss is a loss. I can only wish you good fortune in the battles ahead. I bid you farewell, Maelstrom of the Hidden Leaf Village. You too, Zero Lancer of the Fianna. Naruto bowed his head in respect of his opponent as he watched the body break into small pieces of data and disperse into the sky. Then streaks of white light swirled around before fading away to reveal the second piece of the moon tablet. Looks like we got the second piece after that fight. Well, let's combine them, so that we can return to the academy for some rest. Today was a rather tough start, said Kurama. Naruto nodded in affirmation and clicked both fragments together to form a single artifact, which then released a beam of light towards the ground to form a small circular platform with a metallic outline and a glowing bright blue center with the symbol of a moon at a focal point. He stepped onto the portal and felt himself being transferred before opening his eyes to see that he is staying in front of the sakura tree. Well, time to get some rest. Naruto barely took a step forward when he heard a whooshing sound and looked back to see Castor being transferred as well. The fox girl looked around confusedly before seeing Naruto, to which she smiled happily and skipped over to him. Hiya Maelstrom, I see you passed the first stage of the labyrinth, said Castor. Naruto nodded in affirmation. Yup, I found mine hidden in a hollow tree on the first level and ended up fighting a ghost data on the second level to get the second piece. Castor let out a gasp at what she just heard. I found both pieces in the second and fourth floor. Was the ghost data that strong like BB said? She wasn't joking about how tough they were. The one I fought was a spearman like Lancer, except that he wielded two spears at the same time with scary abilities. Naruto continued with his tale and Castor listened very attentively as both walked back to the dormitory. The dark room, BB and the two unknown females were watching video of Naruto battling against Zero Lancer with looks of interest. So he possesses great power within himself and yet doesn't flaunt it like most males, said the girl with needle-like feet. Then it means that he wouldn't be mean if we met, I hope, said the girl with giant claws. Indeed, so far he along with the other participants have gone through the first stage, but the difficulty will continue to rise as they venture deeper into the labyrinth. I can hope that our cute yellow fox will survive till the end and we could grant his wish, said BB with a soft smile on her face, but looking deep into her eye will you find traces of darkness. It is the second day of the Moon Cell tournament and Naruto is already awake and was currently walking through the school grounds by himself. There was another message this morning from BB, apparently the next stage will commence at night and that the participants are allowed spend the time before then on whatever they want, even revisiting the previous levels in the Sakura Labyrinth. The blonde cyber ninja contemplated whether or not he should go and decided not to. Right now he's walking while deep in thought with his mind straying to a certain person. A girl to be exact. I wonder where Alice has gone to. I haven't seen her since I got back from the forest stage of the labyrinth, said Naruto. I don't know, but I advise that you be careful around her, said Kurama. Naruto quirked an eyebrow in confusion. What do you mean by that? Out of everyone here, you're the only one she seems to appear to, which leads me to think that she wants something from you. But, those eyes of hers, they show how lonely she is. Just be careful, okay? Naruto was about to say more when he heard a familiar voice coming from behind him. Ah, Maelstrom-san. He turned around to see that it was BB who was standing behind him with a smile on her face, to which he returned with a smile of his own. Oh hello BB-chan, I thought you were busy arranging for tonight's next stage, he asked curiously. He added Chan to my name, she thought mirthfully. I just left the rest to my associates to complete the rest while I decided to take a stroll and then I met you. Oh I see, Naruto nodded in understanding. So what are you up to at the moment, she asked curiously. Kinda wandering around at the moment before the time comes for the second stage. Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly, causing BB to giggle. May I suggest the library? It would do you a lot of good to acquire information in preparation for the competition in future, said BB with a smile. I'm not exactly a book person, but I'm not one for turning down advice either. So I'll be going to the library then, thanks though BB-chan, Naruto away waving his hand with BB doing the same. Okay Maelstrom-san, I'll be looking forward to your future battles. BB watched the blonde leave before reaching into her pocket and bringing out a photo of Naruto smiling just now, letting herself coo at it. Wouldn't want a kind cutie like you to be defeated so early in this tournament, but then she glanced to the side to see a nun walking away with a frown on her face. Naruto had arrived at the school building and ascended the flight of stairs to the second floor in direction of the library, when suddenly he heard another familiar voice from behind him. Mister, it was Alice who ran up to him happily. Oh Alice-chan, I was wondering where you were since yesterday, said Naruto, despite Kurama warning him about her, he couldn't help but sympathize with her unknown past. Well Alice saw that you were busy, so Alice decided to wait until you weren't busy anymore and we could play. So can we play? Alice looked at Naruto pleadingly. Naruto recognizes those eyes, it's like staring at a mirror, a young child desperate for any kind of attention. Yeah, we can play since I have some time, Naruto with a smile, no point in denying a girl something he didn't get until years later. Aren't you supposed to be heading to the library like you told BB? Asked Kurama. I can simply send a shadow clone to the library and read for me, thought Naruto. Alice hopped up and down happily at his answer, yay. I knew that you would play with Alice. She is me and I am her. We are ourselves. Naruto blinked confusedly at what she just said. Is she speaking in the third person or talking about herself and another person? Let's start now. Tag, you're it. Alice will be waiting for you in the Sakura labyrinth. Alice tapped Naruto and scampered off before what she said registered in his mind. The labyrinth? But that place is dangerous for a girl like her, thought Naruto. Like I said before, there's more to her than we know. Just be cautious, said Kurama. Right, I'm going after her. After sending a shadow clone to the library, Naruto ran down the stairs and out of the school building in direction of the Sakura tree. The portal opened up for him to pass through quickly and was back in the forest stage. Upon arrival, Naruto started looking around for Alice in hopes of finding her before any of the enemies show up and attack. Ah, there she is. He finally saw her standing in a small clearing ahead and made his way towards her. Alice brightened up upon seeing Naruto approach her. Mister. Over here, over here. You're it, so if you catch Alice, you win. But Alice, this place is dangerous. Why don't we dash? Naruto spoke but Alice cut him off. Alright, ready, go. Alice turned and ran deeper into the forest before Naruto could say anything else. DMN it. I gotta go after her before anything bad happens to her. Naruto took off after the girl while weaving through the tall trees and leaping over bushes. He caught a glimpse of her running behind a tree then quickly dashed over and looked behind only to find her gone. Naruto looked around before seeing Alice running off in another direction but finding it strange at how she got there so fast. What's with this girl running all over the place? She's moving too fast. She's confirming my suspicions with these actions of hers, said Kurama. Well, this game has gone on long enough, I'm ending this now. Naruto ran up a tree to land on its branches before leaping from one tree to another while scoping out for the wandering girl. It didn't take him too long to find the girl as he saw her running below. Then he jumped down on the ground before her and turned around to look with a small smile. Looks like I caught you, Alice-chan. Alice was surprised at how her playmate appeared before her so quickly. You're pretty good, mister. Say, do you want to hear Alice's story? A story? Naruto looked at her confusedly. Once upon a time there was a little girl named Alice, who lived in a country far, far away from here. Naruto blinked once, and he saw another Alice standing, the first one, but the color of her clothes were black. What the, two Alices? Where did the other one from? Thought Naruto, astounded at the sight. And she appeared without a trace, just like the first, but there's something odd about her, said Kurama. The unknown girl spoke up, and then, a scary country came with their tanks and planes and metal helmets and guns. The sky got really red and my house got really black. Then I woke up in a white room. Nothing ever changed. I had no friends. I had no mommy or daddy. These girls are orphans from a war, thought Naruto. Alice followed up, Daddy always said that when I got hurt I should tough it out and would get mad if I said it hurts. But something happened that hurt so much that I couldn't tough it out. Then I woke up here, then she smiled happily, but something was definitely wrong with it, but it's okay, it's really fun here. There are bunches of nice people. Black Alice nodded in agreement, that's right Alice. You can play as hard as you want here, right? But if I play too hard, I break my playthings. I don't want their heads and arms to come off. Don't be silly. If we break them, I can sew them up with the needle and thread Mommy gave me. I'm not very good at sewing, but I can at the very least stitch them together, said Black Alice. What a relief, I wouldn't want to make Mommy mad again, said Alice. There's something very wrong with that new girl. The way she's acting is almost the same as Gaara before he changed, thought Naruto. Indeed, her warped view certainly equals to that of Shikaku's host, said Kurama in agreement. Then let's play really with the mister. 'Cause he is our brand new friend, said Black Alice. Hey, let's see if he wants to play too. Alice nodded excitedly in agreement, yeah. That's a good idea. She raised her hand into the air. A dark shadow slowly rose from behind the girls and loomed over them before revealing it to be gargantuan humanoid monster of burgundy skin with pink markings, a single eye, and a pair of wings on its back. Play with him, mister, said Black Alice with an innocent smile. How the hell I am supposed to play with this thing? As Naruto gazed at this creature, he could feel power practically flowing out it and the entire forest shakes under its influence. He took a step back in fear. Every single part of his body is screaming at him to run away and stay away. Kit, you better pull back so we can come up with a plan. We can't afford to make any mistakes, said Kurama. He could tell that his host wouldn't stand a chance if he face off against that monster then and there. Couldn't agree with you more. Naruto turned around and ran away from the beast as fast as he could, but he could still feel the power from it all around him. Look, Mister has run off, said Alice. He must be playing hide and seek, so our friend must go and find him, said Black Alice. She turned to the monster, go and seek him. The monster let out guttural roar and strode in direction of its playmate. Elsewhere, Naruto was hiding behind a tree, panting before trying to catch his breath and calming down, then called out to Kurama. Got any idea on how to take this thing out? Asked Naruto. Obviously taking it head-on is suicidal. I suggest attacking from a distance with battle chips and shadow clones, Kurama responded. Good idea, that thing really scares me. Haven't felt this scared since I first met Zabuza. Naruto felt the ground shake and peeked out from behind the tree only to see the monster walking towards him, DMN. It's already here, well let's get to it. He ran up the tree and equipped himself with the Orem blade as he reached the top. He leapt through the trees until he found a suitable position, which is overhead and viewing the back of the beast. He began to charge the firearm up to its maximum power. Take this. He pulled the trigger to fire a large plasma bullet which exploded upon impact. When the smoke cleared, it revealed not a single scratch or burn mark. Much to his shock, growling, shadow clone jutsu, he formed a large number of clones which lunged at the beast with their chakra blades out and began slashing with some others using the Orem blade for long range. Support. None of these seemed to even bother monster as it simply knocked them all away with a single backhand, dispelling the clones. How's this then? Multiple mini-bomb battle chips in, and download. See, Naruto held many battle chips in between his fingers and proceeded to rapidly insert in them into the pet. The spherical bombs materialized in each of Naruto's hands every time he flings one towards the monster below him. Suddenly, in an unbelievable burst of speed, it appeared right before Naruto with a fist reared back to punch him, hard. Hang on boss. Anti-DMG battle chip in, download. See, Naruto quickly slotted a chip into the pet as Naruto's body glowed faintly before being punched only to disappear into a puff of smoke, leaving behind a plush toy of himself with the monster roaring in anger. Naruto ran through the forest, frantically trying to come up with a plan. So far none of them would work. The monster is fast, strong and very, very resilient. He slid down against a tree trunk to catch his breath. What do we do, Kurama? Nothing seems to even bug that guy, said Naruto. I've never encountered a beast like it before, but I know that it has a weakness, said Kurama. But the big question is what? He didn't even flinch to show one. Naruto felt his touch something and looked down to see something lying next to him. It was a dagger entirely pitch black in both the handle and blade, but he could see silver engravings along the blade, though he couldn't translate the language it was written in. What is this? I don't know, but I feel strange energy emanating from it, said Kurama. Think it might help us with our invincible monster problem? As of now, anything helps. Sure, they heard the all-familiar roar and saw the monster approaching them once more. However, as it drew close to them, the black sword began to emit a crimson aura which seems to make the monster writhe in anguish as its frightening aura shrinks rapidly. Naruto looked confused at first before realizing what's going on. I don't know what this blade is, but it definitely has an effect on it, said Naruto. In that case, you can damage it now. Naruto charged forward while equipping the Aurum blade and firing at his target, this time inflicting wounds on it. The monster swung at him, but Naruto leapt into the air and formed 3 shadow clones in midair. Fire hit battle chip in, download, their fists ignited in flames as they dove at their target and proceeded to unleash a barrage of fiery punches with relentless vigor. Naruto created more of his clones and leapt high into the air altogether and descended with a somersault, clone spinning axe kick. They slammed their heels on the monster's head consecutively before flipping backwards to land in a 4-point stance, clone body blow. They lunged forward to slam into its torso with flying headbutts which forced it to stumble back, completely unaware that the original dove in from above with the black dagger held over his head until it was too late as he plunged it into the monster's chest and heard its wail as it disappears. Phew, that takes care of it, said a relieved Naruto. Oh. It's a vorpal blade. How did he get that? Really, I wonder how. Naruto turned towards the voices with a frown on his face before speaking to them. What was that about Alice-chan? Were you trying to get me killed? Alice looked a bit frightened, but I thought we were playing a game, mister. Well, it wasn't a nice game. If I had gotten hurt or worse, I wouldn't be able to play any more games with you. Alice looked horrified at what he said. No. Alice doesn't want that. You're very nice and wanted to play with Alice. Please don't say that. Black Alice appeared nonchalant about all this. Maybe you were being a better player than the others. We'll have to come up with another fun game. Let's go, Alice. Okay, Alice. Bye-bye, mister. Alice and the other girl both disappeared without a trace, leaving Naruto alone in the forest. What's the deal with that girl with the black dress? Asked Naruto. I don't know, but be even more careful the next time you meet. Whatever games that they'll come up with which shall be even more dangerous, said Kurama. You're right, I better head back to rest a bit while my clone goes to recharge the battle chips. Naruto made his way back to the portal. Unknown to him was that a black silhouette peeked out from behind a tree with eyes of demureness. He exited the Sakura labyrinth not before noticing the dagger disappear into many pixels, then reappear in a black holster strapped to his left thigh, with Naruto alerting him that it had installed in his system by itself and won't allow itself to be uninstalled. He felt memories of his shadow clone flow into his mind. Apparently the clone was reading on a couple of books with interesting titles and decided to sort them out later. Naruto walked back to the school building with the intention to visit Sakura over at the infirmary. He was getting close to the building when he saw someone walk out, and it was Nero. Ah, hello Nero-chan, Naruto greeted. Why hello there Maelstrom-san, and pray tell why are you covered in dirt? Asked Nero upon seeing one of her contenders appearing so calmly. I was doing some battle training over at the first stage of the Sakura labyrinth, said Naruto. No way is he going to tell her that he just survived a deathly game with innocent girls having a distorted view of the world around them. A small smile graced the face of the female blonde as she nodded in affirmation. Fumo, it's admirable of you to tune up your strength for this tournament. I hope to cross blades with you to test this strength. It is to be artful. I hope for the same from you, Nero-chan. 'Cause I'll be coming at you with everything I've got. Naruto looked at her with fire in his eyes, something which Nero found to be quite enticing, from an expressionist perspective. Very well then, but know that once on the battlefield, my blade will cut down all who stand before me. And I expect you to do the same thing, farewell." Nero walked past him with a glance at his face, still finding him interesting despite his uncouth behavior. Naruto watched the girl leave with a quirked eyebrow. "She's a weird one." "You shouldn't talk, given that you're just as odd," said Kurama. Point taken. Naruto continued on his way into the school, climbed up the stairs and now was standing in front of the door leading into the infirmary. He knocked on the door a few times and heard a soft response before making his entrance. "Hello Sakura-chan, I came by to visit you." Sakura turned to her visitor with a smile on her face. "Oh hello Maelstrom-san, what happened to yourself?" Naruto rubbed the back of his sheepishly. "I did some training before I came here, my bad." The school nurse giggled a bit. "It's quite alright, it's very nice of you to visit. Caster-san came by some time ago and told me of her venture in the first stage before speaking about yours." She could remember how excited the fox girl was when she spoke of the blonde. "Yeah, that ghost Data whom I fought was tough as nails," said Naruto. The two spoke for quite a bit until Naruto saw that it was getting close to the time for the second stage to commence. "I gotta go now, but I'll be sure to visit again soon." "Okay, I really enjoyed your company." Sakura smiled as she watched Naruto leave before frowning, "as long as they don't take things too far." Naruto ran back to the dormitory for a quick refresh and was leaving his room when he saw Lancer passing, who smiled upon seeing him. "Hey there kiddo, looks like you're all prepped up for the next stage, yeah?" said Lancer. Naruto nodded in affirmation. "Yeah, even did a little training in the first stage as a warm-up." "Good call, especially with these guys taking part in the tournament," said Lancer. "Can you tell me more about them?" "Trying to scope out the competition, huh?" "I don't really know most of them, especially the females." Lancer smirked at that, causing Naruto to look at him with a deadpan expression upon figuring out what's going on in his head. "But I do know about Gilgamesh. I hear that he goes by the moniker Golden King since he acts like one but is definitely no slouch in combat to the point of winning net battles without raising a finger. Now for Archer, not much is known about him, but I heard that his previous Netop was a very dangerous man in the real world. No one heard of them until he showed up here in the hands of another Netop." They sound very high level," said Naruto. "Pretty much, so my word of advice is that you should be extra careful when you run into them," said Lancer. "Okay, thanks for the info. Anytime, just give me a good fight should we bump into each other." Lancer and Naruto had arrived at the entrance of the Sakura labyrinth, with the rest arriving soon afterwards. Caster perked up upon seeing Naruto and skipped over. Elizabeth took and wondered why she bothers herself with that male net Navi, and Nero felt slightly annoyed for some reason. The group didn't have to wait any longer as BB materialized before them. "As we're all gathered here, the second stage of the tournament is about to commence. Please be aware of the growing difficulty as you advance to the final area," said BB. Gilgamesh snorted. "I rather prefer such odds. The outset was quite dull." "The rules are the same as the ones before. I wish you good luck." BB watched as the competitors passed by to enter the portal to begin the next stage. When Naruto was walking past her, she saw the Vorpal blade and smiled as if familiar with the weapon before he disappeared into the entrance as well. Arriving at the other side of the portal, Naruto found himself standing on top of a hill overlooking a vast hinterland of long grasses beneath a boundless night sky. Naruto scoped ahead to see a small forest in the distance, and beyond that is what appears to be a castle situated on top of a mountain with a town below and a toll surrounding it along with a moat. "Guess that's where I should be heading to," said Naruto. "It may seem so, we better get moving before the others arrive there as well to acquire the moon tablet pieces," said Kurama. "Gotcha." Naruto ran down the hill in direction of the castle town, which he'll have to get through the forest ahead of him first. He was on the move when from the corner of his eyes, he saw something sifting through the tall grass from his left side but pretended to not have noticed. That was when three shadows jumped out from the grass. He drew out the chakra blade to deflect the first strike, then roll under the second attack before dashing away from the third and final strike. Then he turned to get a better look at his assailants. They appeared to be humanoid in shape with pieces of silver metal on their bodies similar to those knights which his clones read about. These new enemies drew out swords and charged it with the intention to attack. Naruto ran towards and quickly slid in between one of their legs, then he drew out the vorpal blade and threw it to stab one of them in the back, then raised the chakra blade to block an overhead strike while conjuring the aurum blade to fire a plasma shot to disarm one of the knights rushing in to attack. Naruto turned his attention back to the knight he was engaging and kicked it in the torso for a knockback, then he dashed in to execute an X-slash with the chakra blade and the aurum blade, chakra blade boomerang. He spun around to throw the chakra blade at the last knight to slice through its midriff and watched as it disappeared in particles of data while catching his weapon. He heard a swooshing and looked to see the vorpal blade flying back into its sheath. This blade is really attached to me, Naruto mused for a moment before resuming his run to the marked destination with no more ambushes until arriving at the woodlands. He cautiously traversed the dark forest while keeping both eyes and ears out for any enemies lying in wait to attack him from the darkness. His encounter with Zabuza and time in the Forest of Death during the Chunin exams taught him that much. He suddenly heard a twig snap several meters, alerting him that there were enemies inbound and whispered out, "I need some camouflage." "Got it boss, invisible battle chip in, download." See Naruto slotted a chip into pet. Naruto's body became completely transparent before jumping to the treetops silently and took a route around the source of the sound to approach it from behind. He saw a dark shadow moving quietly through the trees and followed after it. Upon closer viewing, he saw that the figure wore a black cloak with the hood up and it held a bow with an arrow nocked and ready. Naruto silently approached the figure from behind while drawing out the vorpal blade and positioned it at the neck before whispering, "You can never surprise a ninja so easily." Then he slashed the neck off to take it down and noticed that it dropped something on the ground and recognized what it is. It's the first piece of the moon tablet. "Wouldn't have expected an enemy possessing it since it was obviously not a ghost data," said Kurama. "Well, we got one, and now for the second one," said Naruto. Resumed the trek and after a while, arrived at the castle town. The problem was that the bridge was up, denying entry into the place. Naruto simply scoffed at that. For a normal person, this would stop them, but definitely not a shinobi. He formed a hand sign to channel chakra to the soles of his feet before easily walking across the moat and then running up the wall and vaulting over to get inside. Elsewhere at the grasslands, one could hear the sounds of explosions and craters are scattered everywhere. Someone was sent skidding backwards from a powerful and looked to glare at the opponent, revealing it to be Lancer, who was wounded all over, and the opponent was. "I must admit that a plebeian like you could last this long against my treasures." The voice of arrogance belonged to none other than Gilgamesh, who stood away with his arms crossed and a smile on his face. Lancer grunted a bit as he got back to his feet and retook his fighting stance with his red spear in hand. "Don't sell me short, I'm having the time of my life fighting and I don't plan for it to end anytime soon." "Humph, well, I'm done wasting my time on you and need to be on my way to fight more worthy opponents. But being the generous person I am, I'll grace you with one of my most powerful attacks, boy, if you would please." "Okay, Key of the King's Law Babilu battle chip in, download." Gil slotted in a golden chip into his pet, then a golden key-shaped key appeared in Gilgamesh's hand. He held it forward and twisted it, then golden ripples appeared overhead where spears, swords and many more weapons appeared from them. Lancer frowned at the sight, then he leapt about 100 meters away from Gilgamesh and took a crouching position on all fours. "In that case, I'm pulling out my trump card. Resign yourself, and receive my blow." Then he dashed forward about halfway before leaping high into the air. He reared the red spear back as it surged with red energy. Gibalg. He hurled it towards Gilgamesh with all of his might in the form of a crimson streak. The Golden King continued to smile, and with a twitch of his fingers, the weapons shot forwards at blurring speeds, which resulted in a massive explosion which could be seen from distance, with those that had noticed to wonder who the cause of it was. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 3. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Hussbek on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.